Alright guys, welcome back to Tech Tanks. This is a video for the CEH playlist. We're going to be covering SQL injection today. SQL injection is kind of a big topic in the Certified Ethical Hacker exam. Most of the questions that I experienced were more along the lines of how does it benefit the attacker, what are some of the different types of injections, and then also some of the syntax. But then I did have questions on one particular tool. I think the reading covers 4 tools, if I remember correctly. But sqlmap seemed to be the big one that was focused on. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a rundown with sqlmap. Now, one thing I do recommend is cover all the different tools that they mentioned. If you don't have the reading, I know they cover sqlmap. I believe it's mol, blisky. Yeah, I think it's blisky. So mol, blisky, sqlmap, and then they kind of give like an honorable mention to a few others, but those are the big. It was 3 that they mentioned. By the way, I'm actually looking at the CEH version 11. The CEH version 10, which I'm not too worried about anymore because I think it's completely removed from the testing in about another week, if I remember correctly, but I could be off. Anyway, but sqlmap, mol, and blisky, blisqy. So focus, read about all those, be familiar with all the tools, but my experience was sqlmap was the big one. Anyway, so we're going to be doing a hack the box called Toolbox, which I was really shocked when I was pulling up the box. I solved it a while ago, but there was only like a few hundred people that had solved it, and I think kind of the reason for that was the way you escape was kind of, I don't know, different, and you'll understand what I mean by that in a little bit. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to this. So looking at the Nmap results, we have FTP that does allow anonymous login, and for thoroughness, we're going to go ahead and check it out. And let's see. So we do have Docker Toolbox exe here. It is a pretty big file, so I would not recommend downloading it unless it's absolutely necessary, which it won't be. This is a retired system, so I'm going to just let you know right now, you're not going to need it. But it is a hint for later on, just as an FYI. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move over to our HTTPS. Alright, and actually, this is my second attempt at recording the video. I haven't used Parrot in a couple months, and I updated it a lot, and that all of a sudden decided to cause problems. Yeah. There we go. Alright. So there is our web page. It has just standard looking web page. It's got the random stuff here, so we can kind of check out what's around here. Go to the about page, their history. Makes no sense. More of that. Our team. Okay, now so for the CEH and also just your generalized, hacking purposes ethically, this is stuff that you're going to want to keep track of. Okay, the names, you have their positions. You want to track that sort of thing, and it's like, just make notes on the fact that it's like, okay, Christine Rooster, she's co-founder and president. Brandon Sharp, he's co-founder and he's the chief operations officer. And you have Connor Hodson, who is marketing. So he must be really good at marketing if he's up there. So you want to keep track of that kind of stuff. Just make quick notes. So with their services, I'm not going to bother clicking around on here because if you notice on the bottom left corner of the web browser, it's going to just take me to the same spot that I'm currently in. So if I click this, nothing changes. If I click this, nothing changes. So what's industries? Wow. I don't think I actually checked this out when I was going through it before. So blog. Okay, another name to kind of pay attention to. Again, just for thoroughness purposes. Contact. Contact is usually a good page to check out. 203 Fake Street. Nice. I'm actually curious if that is a legitimate street. Doubt it, but it'd be funny. Alright, anyway, so then we have this. So when you see forms like this is usually something you're going to want to check out. Now, I never did on this site for two reasons. One, I found another route to go in my Nmap scan, and two, I never had to. So if we come back over here to our Nmap, they have this. Okay, that is something we're going to want to check out. And you can always, fuzz in, see if you can find other subdomains, but we're going to go ahead and edit that into our Etsy host file so that way we can navigate to that web page. Frolic. I remember Frolic. Whoops. Let's see, 10, 10, 10, 236, and then we want admin.megalogistic.com. Okay. No. Just to make sure that we have consistency. There we go. Just added megalogistic.com, and so that way I can just put that in here. So we're going to try that out now. Let's see. Okay, megalogistic.com, admin. Yeah. Okay. All right. Seeing this, I'm going to go ahead and just allow because it's hacked the box, so I know what it is I'm getting into, hopefully. What? I screwed up one. I think it should be fine. Let's make sure I didn't type something in wrong. There we go. All right. Okay, so we have a lovely login page. Okay. Now, we can run GoBuster if we want to, kind of see what else is available, see if there's another route to try to get some credentials. But for the sake of making a shorter video and also to tailor our focus, we're going to go ahead and move this over here. There we go. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is when I come up to something like this, I like to just try different things, right? Depending on what it is I'm wanting to basically go for. So, for example, what I mean by that is when I have a login screen, if say it says, I don't know, Raspberry Pi. Okay, there's a hack the box where that is one of the login screens. Default credentials. That is a huge, huge, huge focus of mine because it's not uncommon to find it. Okay, not even just in Hack the Box, like out in the wild, it is very, very common to find default credentials in different applications, which is really bad. Anyway, the other thing that I like to look at, I always like to just kind of throw in just a few random characters and see if I can get a reaction out of the system. Okay, now in this case, we're going to just start with this. And you can see where it's like I've done these kinds of things before, but we're going to just put in a apostrophe. Okay, and then we're going to just hit login. We're going to see what happens. Okay, and it's thinking, what the, why are you having problems? See, this is why nobody likes pairing. Okay, login failed, but I don't know if you can see this, and it's kind of a pain in the ass for me to see also. Let's see if we can. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you guys are able to read this. But basically what it's stating is that query failed, there was an error, unterminated quoted string at or near quotation, apostrophe, 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 and password equals MD5, blah, 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 blah. So this is basically what it's, so let me just pull this up here. So basically what it's stating is that there's an error, that there's an unclosed apostrophe. And it actually tells you that your statement is, whoops, oh man, select from users where username equals and password equals, and then it does MD5. Huh, that's interesting. Am I missing part of this, or? So basically it's that's what it's showing, but I think part of it's cutting off. But basically your query is, we're going to, I'm going to stop capitalizing because I don't care. Select everything from the users table where the username is equal to, and then they have it in here, and then it's your input. Okay, oops. And so basically that at this point it means it has to meet both conditions, both the username and also the password is equal to, and then it's going to MD5 again your input. Okay, that's basically what it's coming down to. Oh, and then it closes off its query. So what we've done here is at this section where we're putting in this input, our input is an apostrophe. Now basically what that ends up happening is that is saying, you know, username is equal to, it opens an apostrophe, our input is an apostrophe, and then it closes the apostrophe. So we've already closed the apostrophe here, so now we're opening up a whole new section. Okay, that's basically what it's stating. Or that's basically what we've done here. So what it's stating is that we do have the option for SQL injection here. Okay, they're not sanitizing the input. So if we do this, or 1 equals 1, okay, probably should space that. There we go. So what we're basically doing now is we've changed the query to, we are going to select everything from users where username is equal to this, close it, which is what we did here, or 1 equals 1. And then what this part does is this is a comment. So everything beyond this, which would be the other opening and password equals MD5, and then, you know, your input. Okay, all of this is commented out, so it no longer matters. So basically it's saying select everything from users where the username is equal to nothing or 1 equals 1, which is a true statement. Okay, so if we do that and then we press the login, it's probably going to say couldn't, yep, okay, try again, resend. What a piece of crap. Anyway, and now we're in. Okay, so this is one method to bypass logins, like authentications, through SQL injection, because what you're doing is you're trying to get a true statement with this, right? That's the whole point of this part, is where the username is equal to Bob and the password is equal to whatever the MD5 is of your input. you need to get both of those situations, okay? The username and the password. That will allow you to log in because this is now true, right? Where the username is equal to whatever and the password is equal to this. If those match, boom, we're good. In this case, I gave it a true statement, 1 equals 1. So whether the username is nothing or 1 equals 1, then comment out the rest of the stuff. Now, going through this, I'll tell you right now, it's useless, okay? There's nothing good that comes out of this. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and just, I'm hoping we can just go back. Let's find out. Try again. Woo! This is fun. All right, anyway, so that's what we're doing here. Now, what we're going to try next, because we know this is vulnerable to a SQL injection, we're going to go ahead and take advantage of the tool sqlmap. All right. Now, sqlmap is really cool because it automates a lot of the work for you. But I did have a problem running it on this site, like just on the site, and not too sure why. It could be due to, you know, the overlay that was happening here where we saw the error in the background, or I just suck at this. Either one is a possibility. So there's another way to go about this, and we're going to go ahead and I'm probably going to look like a total idiot trying to find something here, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. Oh, nope, got it right away. Look at that. I totally know where Burp Suite was. Okay, don't care. So and this is a kind of a cool trick that I learned actually doing this box a little bit ago. Okay, close it. Next. Start. All right. So with Burp Suite, you can actually use this to save the attempt and then like save it to a file, and then you can just run sqlmap from the file, which is pretty nice. So there's a couple things with SQL injections though, and you'll find that this is a pretty common mistake and it's extremely frustrating. You need to have valid input. Okay, so you need to give it a false, basically, or something where it's like the SQL query can actually go through. Okay, so you don't want to just give it blank. I mean, you can, and sometimes it'll work, but my experience is you need to have a pretty, you know, decent input. So I'm putting admin and admin. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit login, advanced, accept the risk, resend. That is not what I want. Not the one I want. That's the one I want. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and I believe we can. Is it save item? Is that what it is? Huh. Wait, copy the file. Yeah. Teacher. Wow, I haven't done that one in a while. Toolbox. And then we'll just put this as post request. Let's do that. Boom. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and just drop the interception because we don't need it anymore. Oh, it didn't work. Boo-hoo. All right. Oh, there we go. Turn off. Okay. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're actually going to exit out of this. We don't need that anymore. Hopefully that helped kind of explain to you guys. And by the way, command injections work the same way. You fail to sanitize the input and you just kind of slide it right in there. Anyway. So, what the? Oh. Poser, what? Poser request? Alright, whatever. Alright, so what we're going to go ahead and do now is sqlmap is pretty simple to run, okay? There's that. I mean, you got a lot of options here, and we're going to use and abuse this thing, alright, in a few different ways. So we're going to do sqlmap r, which basically just tells it to use a particular file, which is going to be our poser request, because I can't type. And then, because this is SSL, we're going to do force SSL, and then batch. This basically tells it, just answer the questions by default. Don't ask me everything because you will find sqlmap asks a lot of questions. Okay? We're going to go ahead and send this through. Uh, this does tend to take a minute. It's trying a lot of different things. You can see what it's doing. Um, like it'll go through and it'll say it's like, oh, testing if post parameter username is dynamic, and oh, we're going to try generic inline queries and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to run through. It's going to take a minute. I'm going to put you on mute for a second so I can drink my coffee, take a hit of my vape, that kind of stuff. Okay. Got my caffeine, got my nicotine. We're good. Okay, so what SQL Map does, guys, is it basically will just automate this whole process for you. It will test everything, and sometimes these can take a really long time depending on what it's finding. And sometimes you'll want it to ask you questions, sometimes you don't. Kind of depends. In this case, you can run it with batch and be good to go. And hopefully it's almost done because I'm running out of things to say here. Now, with this, there's a lot of information that we are able to get. It's not just about necessarily pulling information from the tables. You're also able to, well, first you can identify what tables are there. Then you can identify the content within the tables. And SQL Map actually has an option where you can send through commands at times. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. Okay. So this right here, that's what we were looking for. Okay. So it was able to get some stuff to work, which we expected. So we're going to try to get some additional information out of it. Okay. Um, we want to basically find out what databases are there. Okay, so the way we're going to do that is we're actually going to just run the same thing again. Only this time we're going to go ahead and add in just DBS. I think it'll run faster because it's already run this part. Yeah, so you can see it's already getting us the tables. We have public, PG catalog, information schema. We'll see if it finds anything else. Okay, it takes a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. And waiting. Waiting some more. And some more. There we go. Okay. So it looks like we have those three tables. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and just start with that one. Might as well, right? So what we're going to do is change this up a little bit. Yeah, okay. I was just trying to remember if it's a double hyphen or a single hyphen. It's a single hyphen to do public. And then we're going to see what tables are there, right? Okay, we have users. So as you can see, this is kind of a bit of a process. So we can get rid of that part and then put T. We're going to go for the users table. And then we wanted to dump the information, right? That's the whole point there. Okay, so I found out what columns there are. Okay. So no clear passwords found. We do have this one. And I'll be honest, I spent some time on this. Couldn't find it. I could not crack that thing. So I'm sure if you really spent a lot of time on it and really, really wanted to, you could probably find a solution for that. But it's not overly necessary. So we're going to kind of just skip that part for now. But that's how you get information from SQL Map. I mean, notice we just kept running different things on here, and I mean, we were able to pull out the password, the username. We were able to identify tables. Like, we were able to get a lot done running SQL Map, and that's kind of the whole point of it. Is it automates for you, makes life so much easier. Um, so what we're going to do now, and this is kind of a cool trick. We're going to go ahead and get a command executing shell on here. And I'm trying to remember. Okay. I already have force SSL. What am I doing? OS shell. And I think that's all we need. We're going to find out. Because in there, we got a problem. We have a shell. Cool. All right. So we now have command execution on here, which is nice, right? We like command execution. That is always a great time. So now there's a few routes that you can go with this. But I'm trying to think of, kind of the best way to, depending on what your purpose is. If you're just trying to upload something and then execute it, you can do it this way. I mean, there's a lot of options that you have here, but if you notice that this shell is kind of, to say the least, right? It's not a great shell to have. There's a lot of options you have as far as for how you can improve your shell and things like that. But again, the whole point of this one was to just see kind of how the SQL map and the SQL injection works. Now, I did say also that I would show you, or I would tell you why that the Docker toolbox exe thing was a benefit to just simply know about it. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to finish this box, but that is SQL injections that I wanted to demonstrate for you, and basically, using SQL map. Okay, so that was kind of everything in a nutshell on that part. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's pop a shell though, like a real shell. Let's clear this first. We're going to set up a listener, I guess, what, 1, 2, 3, 4? Why not? Do it. Okay. So on here, I'm going to just put in a simple bash shell, because why not? I think that's my IP address. I'm going to find out. Oops. Sorry guys, takes a minute. Yeah. Alright, so we now have we have a legitimate shell on here now. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. So I always like to make sure that I have upgrading to like a TTY shell and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just run my Python 3 real quick. Now! I hate this thing so much. Connection timed out. Yeah, I remember this now. Okay. So it basically becomes a race against time. All right. Any user. So, am I going to lose it? Am I going to lose it? Nope. Okay, it worked. Fantastic. I think. I hope. I'm really hoping. Anyway, so at this point we have our shell. right? And now we're able to enumerate the system more and things like that. But I kind of want to go back to that file that we found earlier, right? The Docker .exe file. So what is it? Docker toolbox, I think. Uh, so it's always a good idea to get a pretty decent idea as far as what, like when you get a hint like that, like you want to make sure you enumerate a little bit further. Okay, what does Docker Toolbox, do? Is there anything that I can utilize from it being made or anything like that? And so with Docker Toolbox, it took me a little bit of time to find it, but I think I ended up going to the actual website. Let's see, Toolbox, Terminal, yep, stuff, more stuff. Let's see here. Okay, that looks like I'll keep my shell now, so that's good. That's what we care about. So when you look around, guys, and I can't remember where I ended up finding it, but after a little bit of time, what I found was that the Docker Toolbox. I'm gonna try one more time because I want to like show you guys how like I came across it. Docker Toolbox for Windows, maybe that's what it is. Oh, that was useless. Yeah, because this is the actual information for Docker, and ideally without having to read everything all over again that I went through before. What I found was that it installs boot to Docker, but apparently that's not on here. Anyway, one of the documents that I found, it talked about boot to Docker, and based on that, I was able to find, let's see, like after looking at that, and I think this might be the one. Yeah. So based on the boot to Docker, what I found was this, okay? Now part of your standard enumeration that you do on a system should include, first of all, the operating system, right? Now this is a Linux system, which is weird because it was, a Windows system before, but that is because of Docker, all right? Now if we also check if config, that is not the 10.10.10 236, 10, 10, 10, yeah, 236 that we had worked with previously. This is a whole different IP address. This is relevant. You will see this pretty often, actually. Where it's connected to multiple networks. Depending on what your setup is at home. If you have a internal network that you keep just available for whatever, your own stuff, you may have multiple IP addresses within one system already. I mean, this system, the one I'm currently on, has two different IP addresses. It has the VPN and then it has the standard one. So this, and then with this, I'm going to say, well, gee, I wonder what happens if I try to SSH in as Docker at 172.17.0.1. Now the reason why, what the hell? Okay, I don't know what just happened there. The reason why I did 1 was because the idea is that that will be where the main, like the gateway for it is, right? So if I do that, then ideally it's going to ask for a password, but this thing seems to be having a stroke right now. Did I put that in right? 172, 172. Oh, I'm trying to think, what did I do wrong here? I'm pretty sure I'm doing this correctly here. Like, Let me try something. Maybe I didn't spawn like I intended to. Telling you, I didn't have this many problems when I was using Kali. Alright, we're going to try this one more time. If this doesn't work, then we'll just try to start with fresh shell and do it again. So it's 172.17.0.1. Permission denied. This is weird. Alright, let's try this again. I love it when things don't work like they're supposed to. Makes me feel good. Alright, so Python 3, C, import, ready. Oh my gosh, ready dot spawn. Okay, then we're going to do the SSH. Ah, crap. No, we're not. I can't remember the IP address. Now we're going to do the SSH. And that's going to be docker at 72.17.0.1. There we go. PC user. I'm Docker. I can do everything. No password. So there you go. You know, like I said, guys, just looking into it. I can't remember where I found it before, but it was basically Docker toolbox. Maybe it's like installations is what I searched or something. It's irritating, but look into it. You will find things. You know, you just gotta kind of poke around. It didn't take me too long, but anyways, SQL injection was the big focus on this video, and we covered that pretty well. But yeah, hopefully that, guys, helped you understand a little bit, show you especially the use of sqlmap and the different things that it can do, how it's a benefit, and hopefully my explanation of you know, why the SQL injection worked was a benefit to you. I'll try to post up another video you know, within the next week. Like I said, about another month or so, and things should be a lot more consistent. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.